Christopher Nolan and the summer blockbuster are basically synonymous at this point. After the massive sweep of Oppenheimer, we all expected his next move to be big. But I don't think anyone expected this. We're officially on the road to the Odyssey, and for the first time in a long time, the Nolan stans and the general public are actually at each other's throats. Between Matt Damon's American hero energy, a very specific line about a daddy, and the casting of Travis Scott, the discourse is reaching a boiling point. Today, we're breaking down why audiences are concerned, why some of the backlash feels a bit selective, and if Nolan's tactile realism can actually survive a world of monsters and myths. Let's address the meme that took over the internet 10 minutes after the trailer dropped. Robert Pattinson's character, Antinous, looking at Telemachus and saying, "You're pining for a daddy you didn't even know." Now, I get it. Nolan is trying to make the Greek epic feel modern and immediate. But the word daddy in 1200 BCE, the term simply wasn't used in that context for thousands of years. For a lot of history buffs and classics nerds, this was a massive record scratch moment. It makes the dialogue feel less like Homeric poetry and more like a modern drama. Combine that with the armor, which looks more like a sleek, matte black Batman suit than hammered bronze, and you start to see the concern. Nolan famously avoids CGI to keep things real, but when your real objects look like they were 3D printed last Tuesday, it actually breaks the immersion more than a green screen would. Then we have the captain of the ship himself, Matt Damon as Odysseus. Damon is a phenomenal actor, but the backlash here is about vibe. People are calling this the Great Wall 2.0. There's a feeling that Odysseus, a character defined by being a man of many turns, a cunning Mediterranean trickster, is being turned into a generic, gritty American dad. Critics are worried that instead of an epic Greek king, we're just getting Jason Bourne on a boat. In a movie where Nolan is pushing for global scale, casting one of the most all-American faces in Hollywood history feels safe, maybe too safe, and arguably a bit misaligned with the source material's cultural roots. Now, we have to talk about Lupita Nyong'o playing the dual roles of Helen of Troy and her sister, Clytemnestra. The internet has been loud about this. There's been a lot of talk about historical accuracy. But let's be real. Helen of Troy is a mythological figure. She's the daughter of Zeus, who supposedly hatched from an egg after he turned into a swan. We aren't exactly looking at a DNA-verified historical record here. Personally, I don't mind this casting at all. Lupita is an Oscar winner for a reason. If anyone can play the face that launched 1,000 ships and her vengeful sister, it's her. What I find interesting is the selective outrage. We've had decades of movies where actual, verified historical figures, people who really existed, like Moses or Cleopatra, were played by Caucasian actors, and the historical accuracy crowd didn't seem to have a problem then. If we can accept a British accent in ancient Rome for the last 50 years of cinema, we can definitely accept a brilliant black actress playing a literal daughter of a god. Just saying. Finally, there's the Travis Scott casting. Nolan confirmed Scott is playing the Bard, the narrator of the film. Nolan's reasoning is that ancient epics were oral poetry, basically the rap of the Bronze Age. On paper, that's a cool, high-concept idea, but it sparked a huge debate. Is Travis Scott the right voice for this? If the goal is to bridge the gap between ancient oral tradition and modern lyricism, you could argue that a rapper like J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar, artists known for their dense, narrative storytelling, might have been a more poetic fit for a bard. But this is Christopher Nolan. He worked with Travis on Tenet, and he clearly sees something in Scott's aesthetic and vocal texture that fits his vision. Maybe he wants something more atmospheric and vibe-heavy than a lyrical deep dive. Still, for fans of the poem, it's a massive wait-and-see moment. At the end of the day, Nolan turned a 3-hour math lesson about a bomb into a billion-dollar hit. He's earned the benefit of the doubt. But between Daddygate and the Americanized Troy, he's definitely taking his biggest swing yet. What do you think? Is the dialogue a deal breaker? And who would your dream casting for the Bard be? Let's keep it civil in the comments. Regardless of the controversy, this is a Nolan epic on 70mm IMAX. You already know I'll be there in the front row on opening day, and you should be too. Whether it's a masterpiece or a beautiful disaster, it's going to be a cinematic event you don't want to miss. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you at the next port.